Aaron Tuttle here for Ferguson Roof Systems. For 43 years, Ferguson Roof Systems has been protecting Oklahoma's homes and businesses with quality roofing services. Their goal was to be the most honest and dependable roofing company in the state, all while providing free services such as lifetime labor warranty and annual inspections. Well, mission accomplished with thousands of client testimonials, an A+ Better Business Bureau rating, and a 5-star rating on Google. Look, the weather gives you enough to worry about, so why worry about who to trust with your roof? Call Ferguson Roof Systems today or find out more at fergusonroofsystems.com.
Hey, good afternoon. This is going to be your lunchtime live weather update. I am meteorologist Aaron Tuttle. Normally do these around 9 o'clock or so in the evening, but we've got obviously some inclement weather out there to discuss. So we're going to do that here for you and spend a few minutes on what you can expect here for today. Kind of focus more on the short term and more of that icy conditions that you've seen, I'm sure, on the news with a lot of accidents out there. Alyssa, by the way, Katie, Katina, Kimberly, Sandra, Cindy, I see you ladies. Thank you for the stars here for our lunchtime live. So if you'd like to send me a few of those Facebook love stars, hit the bottom on the comment section. There's a little icon there you can hit, and then Facebook will send them to me from you. And it looks like Diana's on a 3-week streak. Man, some of you guys are on some seriously long streaks out there, so I appreciate that. All right, tell you what, let's get on into the juicy details. And if you missed my live last night, man, you're, SOL. Is smooth out of luck. It's just been a bad morning, for a lot of folks that if they weren't paying attention, if they didn't watch the weather, if they didn't read my blogs, they didn't know, and if they didn't pay attention to, I'm sure the other guys as well, they didn't know, and that's bad news. Anytime you get that freezing drizzle, it's just a nightmare. That's why I spent a lot of time on it last night, kind of warn you and prepare you for that. So let's take a look at what's happening out there now. Let me minimize some of this. Andrea, I see you. Karen, Laura, thank you. Amber, Amy, Jeanette, Levi, you guys are awesome. Sam, he's wanting to know if there's going to be any power outages. Ooh, it's a good question. We talked about that last night. If you do get a power outage, what you can do at home to stay warm, because what we're going to be experiencing is something brutal coming our way as we head toward the end of the week into our Valentine's Day weekend. It'll be the coldest of the cold since 1983. And you don't want to be anywhere outdoors in that for a length of time, or even without heat. Let's put it that way. Okay, so let's get on with the current situation here, and let me start with this map here. So there is a winter weather advisory in effect from the National Weather Service, outlined here in the purple counties. Goes through Tulsa, down to just north of Ada, to north of Ardmore, down to Duncan, Lawton, back out here like this. And this whole area is basically for freezing drizzle. And freezing drizzle doesn't sound like a big deal because we don't pay a lot of attention to it. It's just a little bit of mist, right? Well, the problem is you get temperatures that are below freezing, that becomes a major problem. Now, cloud cover out there is pretty thick. That's not going to go anywhere. Matter of fact, I'm not so sure when we're going to see the sun next, so don't be holding out for rays of sunshine anytime soon. I imagine we'll see a few peaks of sun at some point this week, but it's kind of a gloomy pattern we're going to be locked into. If you take a look at the temperatures out there now, which are located in the red numbers you see on the map, the green numbers are the dew point values, you can see temperatures in the 20s and teens across northern half of the state. Once you get south of I-44, though, they warm above freezing. There's 33 degrees here south of Norman, Pauls Valley, Paola area. And then we're down into the mid-30s here in Duncan, and then now we're below freezing south of Lawton. So that winter weather advisory will need to be extended southward in this area for southwest Oklahoma as the trends continue to bring that Arctic air oozing on southward. Also, you see the wind barbs, these little lines you see on the map. See how they're blowing in different directions? You see how there's nothing up here? So what that means is ice accumulations on the anemometer, so therefore they will not be reporting our wind direction anymore from that area. And we can take a look at that here on a bigger view. This is the radar view. These little pink areas are ping reports that you can send in to the National Weather Service yourself. And it reports freezing drizzle out there, obviously. And this little light blue and gray color on the radar map is indicative of freezing drizzle. Now, light freezing drizzle in the gray, heavy freezing drizzle in the darker shades of blue. And you can see temperatures are into the 20s out there. Teens in Watonga. Looks like 23 out here in El Reno. 28, 25 toward Yukon and Piedmont. Guthrie not even reporting anymore. They just froze over. But they're into the lower 20s. So again, anything out there falling at this point forward is going to be that freeze and drizzle. And also keep in mind, there is a magic number right around 27 degrees During the day, where bridges and overpasses love to just glaze over completely, all of them. So you've got to be very, very careful. If you don't get one, you're lucky. Let's put it that way. It would be an oddity. Now, this freezing drizzle continues on the turnpike all up toward Tulsa. If I were to look at another radar view, we'd see it up there as well. They've been getting hit with freezing drizzle all day and a lot of accidents too. So it's just a mess out there across the state. So let's take a look at what that looks like also. I can show you on the big picture. First off, soil temperatures out there. I want to show you that. They're into the 40s, upper 30s to low 40s. And these soil temperatures will cool down with time. So we're kind of on borrowed time. Once these numbers get a little bit lower, then the regular roads will start to freeze over. So here's a look at my website, which is aarontuttle.weather.com. This is the Oklahoma road conditions. Now you can get this inside my free weather app, AT's Weather to Go. There's a menu tab. You can just click on it. It'll take you this. It'll show you the ground, the soil temperatures at the 2-inch level to give you an idea on the biggest trouble spots. And then the snow route, once that becomes an issue there, the snow routes will be posted for Oklahoma City metro area. Now, we look at the Oklahoma road map condition across the entire state. Let me back out here. You see a lot of orange on the map. That means severe travel conditions. In other words, very, very slow go. And if you click on any number of these little pictures here, these little cameras, you can track roadways all across Oklahoma from truck drivers, etc. So here's one, for example, that's driving into the Guthrie area, and he's obviously seeing a little bit of freezing drizzle on his windshield, but he's traveling along. So that's kind of one example there. Here in Oklahoma City, we've got another view. This particular location is I-44 and Southwest 66. And what you can do is pull up any one of these little streams here from the map. So if I go back to the map view, click this right here, and this will show you the traffic moving in speeds. You know, obviously if it's orange or red, you're at a standstill or very, very slow. If it's yellow, it's very slow. So there's the miles per hour gauge. And you can pull up any of these pictures as well, and these cameras, and you can see how the roads look, assuming that the cameras are working, of course. That one looks like it's offline. The one I picked on earlier was online. Let's go back to that one. There, that one's iced over. You can't even see out of it anymore. But that might be an issue with some of these cameras with the freezing drizzle that continues. But regardless, all this information is on my website that you can pick up anytime. That way, if you want to head out the door, see where things lie, there you go. You'll have your answer. Okay, so let's focus on how much precipitation as far as the freezing drizzle is going to accumulate. Models did a very poor job at predicting this and handling it, which isn't unexpected. We talked about this for days on end. But they finally caught on, which is good news. So they're late to their own party, but at least they now know what's happening, which is freezing drizzle. And this is the accumulation all the way into, I believe we go to Wednesday morning. Now, you're seeing, okay, that's 300s, 500s, 10th. It doesn't sound like a whole lot, but remember, this is just nothing but ice on those roadways. So you've got to be very careful. Southern Missouri just getting hammered. Northern Arkansas, southeastern Kansas, a good chunk of Oklahoma. The exception to the rule will be far, far northwest and far, far southeast. Everywhere else in between, just expect those slippery conditions, and that's going to be the big story. I'm going to focus on here as far as peaks of when maybe the heaviest precipitation will start. So, or through the period. Here's, of course, is today. So these are model amounts up to around 200s to maybe as much as 300s on average here in Oklahoma City metro area, for example. Tomorrow we still have this trend line. Everything you see goes all the way through the 11th of this week, all the way through Thursday. Anytime you see these little bumps, this is all precipitation signals. All of it's freezing drizzle. That's what I'm saying. It's just going to be a gross week overall. And you're really going to be careful on those roads. Another peak here probably on, looks like Wednesday morning, another 500s. Otherwise, most of it is below 500s. But it only takes 100th, like 0.01, 100th to cause problems. So 0.05 is just more insult to injury. If we take a look at the overall ice accumulations for this week, not only in Oklahoma, but in surrounding areas, I want to show you that the models are really highlighting to shift this with time down southward on into Texas and Arkansas from that Arctic air mass intrusion. So just keep in mind that ice is going to be a problem surrounding Oklahoma down south into Texas, Dallas, Fort Worth, Tyler, on eastbound up 20, and then on into western parts of Texas, and then on up to the Appalachians. So that's going to be an issue for travels. This is through Thursday, really. So about through Thursday morning. So keep that in mind as well. Temperatures. Wish I had better news for you, but I still don't. I picked the coldest of the cold models because I think that's the pattern we're in. And they just keep getting worse. I mean, every time I think they stop, they just get colder. So we've got Valentine's Day weekend. Here's Saturday. Oklahoma City, 2 degrees. How about a high of 3? On Sunday, how about minus 10 in the morning and a high of 2 for the afternoon? We might actually not get above 0 degrees on Sunday. Now, the wind chill value is a whole nother animal. I'll show you that here in a second. Monday, not much better. Minus 7 to 4. Tuesday, we finally start to warm things up. This is one of these deals. This long, extended track, you might as well just cut the line in the sand. Here, I'll do it for you. We'll do about this. All right, because this is all up in the air. There's some indication we may warm briefly, and there's some that we get more reinforcing shots of cold air. It's a cold pattern through the month, and so even though we may get some respite, I still think there's more Arctic air to come. May not be as brutal as this trek here for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but we're in store for some rough stuff. And now this is going to freeze over the ponds and the lakes and the creeks and the streams and the rivers and everything else. So tell your kids, don't go out there and play on the ice. It will not thicken up enough to support all their weight. It only takes one accident to be a bad news story, and you don't want your child to be that bad news story. So make sure you let them know. I was a kid once. I was brave. Mom wasn't around to tell me to stay off the ice. This was in Dallas. This was in 1983, and this is where things froze over down there. And I'm lucky to be here. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. So just make sure you do that. Now, talked about power outages being a possibility. You can actually look at those on my website. I'm going to go back to my website. It's under the weather data tab, and we'll go down in here to Oklahoma power outages. We'll see if there's any out there right now, because that is definitely not something you want to be concerned with when we're dealing with temperatures that cold. So right now, looks like a little bit out here toward Fort Smith. It's no big deal. And there's a couple of links to the co-op sites and Power Outage USA for Oklahoma, so you can get the latest on power outages there. All right, let's go back to the maps and let's talk about temperatures. Now, you do know the cold air is already here, right? So what changes? Well, Arctic air doesn't really go anywhere. It has to erode slowly. It can't get displaced. So once it's in, it's usually in, and it has to slowly modify. Well, that's great, except we're going to have more reinforcing shots of cold air that comes in here. So today, we're in the 20s, in teens. You saw the current radar map. I don't expect any change in any of this. As we head into, let's see, where are we going to? We're going to tomorrow morning. That's teens, maybe some single digits across the border there into Kansas. And as we head on into tomorrow afternoon, we're still into the low 20s and teens. As we head into Wednesday morning, same idea, repeat, right? Rinse and repeat over and over and over. Now you can see the freezing line, according to the model, is at this point in time is down through, it's about central Arkansas to almost all the way to southeast Oklahoma, just north of Dallas-Fort Worth, and then back out toward Abilene and western Texas. Now, this is a model forecast. They don't always forecast the exact placement of these shallow Arctic air masses. Typically, they're a little bit more south than what they will indicate. For example, today, the original models had this front coming in. This is days ago as we were talking about it. Had it coming around 6 o'clock Monday evening. And I warned you back then, they're usually way late to the party, and they usually comes in a lot sooner. And at the beginning, I took a stab and said probably noon, 6 hours before the models thought. And then as we got closer, I said, it looks like even earlier than that. And then last night we talked about mid-morning, and sure enough, it came through the Oklahoma City metro area really from about 6 to 9 in the morning, swung in from north to south, and that's all she wrote, and it's downhill from there. So that kind of thought process applies on the south end of the Arctic air mass, which is down here south of North Texas and everywhere else in between. So keep that in mind if you don't live in Oklahoma, but you do live in surrounding areas, that the timing of the front can always come in a little sooner. Now, let's talk about wind chill values, and then we're going to go a little peek into your Valentine's Day love day. We're going to see how close you want to cuddle with the other person. All right, or dog, or cat, bird, whatever it may be. So here's a look at Monday. We got wind chill values, of course, today into the single digits and teens out there for today for you. As we head into Tuesday, same thing, single digits and teens for wind chill values. It does not get any better. And as we head into the extended toward Wednesday morning, single digits and teens. Okay, you ready for the long term? Let's do it. let's just go out there. Put this in here. We're going to go to the American model, and I'm going to leave it on the bigger view so we can see surrounding states for you folks that don't live in Oklahoma. The last few nights I kind of hyper-focused on Oklahoma for the most part, but we're going to expand it out a little bit more to include Kansas and Missouri. Okay, so we're Saturday right now. So this is Saturday morning. Oklahoma City's 3 degrees. We're into the negative numbers. Northwest Oklahoma, and we're in the negative numbers in almost all of Kansas and all of Missouri. So we go through time. We barely get above zero throughout the entire day on Saturday. I mean, that's just brutal stuff. We head into Sunday morning. We're at -8 here in Oklahoma City, -11, -15 out there. These are not wind chill temperatures, folks. These are actual, the real deal. Sunday afternoon, we just might get above zero. Just might. No guarantees, no promises. So headed to Monday, same thing. Just a brutal day out there, and it just repeats into Tuesday, and then Wednesday, and then, like I said, after that, it starts to try to moderate. This is the 18th. This is the next Thursday, not this coming Thursday, but next Thursday. So that's at least, we're at least talking 10 days of just chaos as far as cold air goes. Let me just focus on the wind chill values during this time. I want to show you just how cold those look like they're going to end up being in the extended. So we'll jump on into the weekend period because that was the coldest period coming up for us. There's Saturday morning wind chill values in the negative teens to -20s. That's all during the day on Saturday, so no respite there. As we head into Sunday, these values are the negative 30s. Oh, look at this, -20s down into Texas. -teens way down there. -30s out here and then the Panhandle. -30s up north. -30s into Kansas or Missouri. It just doesn't get any better. As we head into Sunday afternoon, -20s. We do rebound a little bit. At least it's not as brutal on our Valentine's Day. But like I said, you want to stay indoors. You want to be under a nice comfy fire. I mean, whatever you can do to stay warm. On into Monday, no big change there. Tuesday, no big change there. It does start to moderate, looks like a little bit by the time we get into Wednesday. But we still have wind chill values below zero for an extended period of time. Okay, so that reminds me, last night we discussed this. So I'm going to pull this up for you today. What do you do in this situation, right? Because it's kind of important. So we'll pop this up first. So how you dress in extreme cold. You got to obviously have multiple layers on. So 3+ layers, at least one insulating. You got to have gloves on, 2 layers on the bottom pants. I mean, if you had ski attire, if you're a snow skier, you're gonna be outdoors for a long period of time. You got boots, waterproof, outer layer to keep out the wind. Face mask, well, that's standard for 2020, 2021. You should have 1,000 of those in your home. Warm hat, because you got to trap the heat. A lot of the heat escapes to the top of your head, so make sure you stay warm for that. That's how you dress outdoors for any length of time. We also showed you this. This is what happens if you're outdoors for a length of time. It'd be a little hard to see. I need to find a bigger map for this. I forgot to load one up. Frostbite time is 30 minutes. When you have wind chill values into the -teens to -20s to -30. That's all it takes. You're outdoors half an hour, you're toast. If you're not completely covered head to toe. Otherwise, frostbite will get you. And frostbite will lead to limb detachments, the loss of blood flow, decayed flesh. You don't want any of that, trust me. So that's a bad thing there. All right, power goes out. What do you do? In the house, you got to keep the blinds or curtains closed during the night, of course. If we can get some sun during the day, you might want to open those up to get some sun in. Otherwise, you're going to close off rooms to avoid wasting heat. Wear layers of loose-fitting, lightweight, warm clothing we talked about. Eat and drink. Food provides those calories and energy to warm the body. Don't drink caffeine or alcohol. And stuff towels or rags in cracks under the door. So that's all some good advice there. And then, of course, today, what we're dealing with here is, why do bridges freeze over? Well, because there's no ground underneath them to keep them warm, because we don't have those ground temps to help out in that case. Freezing isn't uniform. Shaded parts can be icy when sunny parts aren't, for example. Slow down before the bridge. Changing speed on ice is dangerous. All right, that's their polite way of saying don't slam on the brakes while you're on ice on the bridge. It's too late for that. You're asking for trouble. You'll completely lose control of your vehicle. You have to slow down before you get to that icy spot. Now, how do you know when an icy spot's coming? You don't. What you have to do is assume. So just assume the bridge is covered in ice. From this point forward to the end of the week, just make that assumption, slow down before you get to the bridge, and then just coast over it or glide over it. Keep your wheel completely straight. If everybody were to do that, you'd have a lot less accidents when you encounter, this small stretch of real estate, so to speak. But that's usually not the case. And if one's going sideways, it's just nature of the beast. You can't control them, and then whatever happens to you, you're just it's in a chaos pattern at that point. So prayers, really quick. Might be a curse word, but followed up with a prayer really quick. So don't let black ice sneak up on you. It can form on any road, but also curbs and drainage areas. If you get out of your car, we're in the parking lot early this morning. The parking lot itself was wet, but the little parking brick completely iced over. I mean, you can't even see the ice. I mean, it looks just like almost not dry, but just it looks like a regular piece of concrete. Put your foot on it, done. No traction at all. A lot of accidents happen in that kind of situation. Okay, and of course that break your bones, concussions, all that stuff. All right, so obviously it's more prevalent at night, but can be around in the morning, of course. During the day, it's a lot harder, but I think if we can get around 27 degrees or cooler, then that's when you have more problems. And we have 27 degrees or cooler in many areas where the freezing drizzle is occurring. Don't drive during, obviously, freezing temperatures after rain or snow melt. Well, that's not going to happen if you have to go somewhere. But you know at least what the threat is. And then finally, with that in mind, let me blow this one up. Kind of a car kit here, what you can have in your vehicle. Cell phone charger, first aid kit, jumper cables, obviously spare tire, road flares, full tank of gas, or at least a half a tank for this upcoming stretch of cold weather, so your lines don't freeze over. Sand or kitty litter, tow rope, blankets, snow shovel, brush, ice scraper, flashlight, mittens, hats, boots, warm clothes, water, snacks, that kind of deal. Just keep that in your car. That way, if something were to happen to you and people can't get to you in time, or you can't get out of there in time, at least you've got some stuff with you to kind of make do until help arrives if you can't get out yourself, or seek shelter. So I believe that is going to encompass a lot of the stuff we talked about last night, and then just some of the new stuff today that's happened lately in the latest data. I don't think there was anything else I wanted to hit. I'm trying to think. Let me go to your questions here real quick. You guys in YouTube, thanks for following. Paul's checking in from Eufaula. The Integra Center is watching in the house. Kicking cancer, awesome. Anytime you can kick cancer's butt, it's a win. Late notifications on Facebook and YouTube, Jim says. I'm not surprised. Will there be a winter storm? Ray wants to know. That was the one thing I did not discuss. All right, let's just do that real quick. Only because it's changed so much off and on. As far as consistency going, I'm getting a really good, strong winter storm signal. We've gotten the weak signals. It just hasn't come in to just Katie bar the doors, right? Until this morning. So I'm glad you brought that up. I usually kind of focus on the short term with the ice, but we'll do that. So here's Saturday. So he's got some heavy snow here for central Oklahoma. As a matter of fact, the whole state of Oklahoma, take that back. And then it's got some sleet, freezing rain down here and across South Texas. This is on Saturday. Let's see. Matter of fact, anything before then, no strong signals. Just this kind of the weak signals the models have trouble with. There's Wednesday, for example. There should be a lot more than this, but the model's not going to pick up on that very well as a global model. But let's see. There's Saturday, and then we'll go to Saturday night. That's out of here. Here's Sunday night into Monday morning. Another quick little moving wave of snow, and then that's out of here. And then that's it right now on the signal. There's something late in the period on the 24th of February. Now, just for fun, we'll put in the snow totals. Don't hold me to this because, remember, I told you last night it's going to change 1,000 times. But this run is completely different than last night's run, and it dumps a ton of snow across the state. There's 8 inches in Oklahoma City. There's almost 10 inches in Eufaula, McAllister area. Northwest Oklahoma, there's about 6 inches. So Oklahoma gets a bullseye if that's the case. So if you want snow like this, fingers crossed. Now, you can drive on snow. Snow's not bad. If we can replace the little ice stuff that we have around here with some snow, get some traction, hey, that's all better. But also keep in mind, under the snow is going to be some ice. So it's always just a bad situation overall. Anyway. And these type of events don't happen that often as far as this long of a stretch. You know, we're used to more of like the fly by day, by night type deal where they're in and out in 24 hours and sun comes out, we warm up, and it was a distant memory, right? But that's not going to be the case this time around. So, okay, if you guys on my Patreon page, you see the video is rolling again. So I got that temporarily working. I got to do some more investigation to figure out all that stuff. But at least you're up and running now. So thanks for your comments there. I just saw several of them. A lot of you guys are baking food. You're making me hungry. I need to eat lunch myself. Let's see, go to the main page here real quick. Look at a couple of your questions. So Georgiana wants to know, are we going to have ice until? Yes, until is a good question mark. A long time. Oilton, Oklahoma is checking in. All right, Margaret. Good to see you out there. Thanks again for all the stars, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate those for our lunchtime today. It's very nice of you. Stars just a way for those who don't know. It's just a way to give back to your content creators. It's like a tip for good service or good work, or that you appreciate what they do for you. So if you'd like to participate, just hit that button, and then Facebook will fill you in on how to do the rest. Let's see. Keep a 30-pound bag of litter. Yep. That's the good news is a lot of the vehicles now have all-wheel drive or even four-wheel drive as an option, which does help some, but ice is a whole different animal. All right. So that helps in some in other conditions, mud, snow, that kind of deal. But a sheet of ice is a sheet of ice. It doesn't really matter what you're driving in or how big the vehicle is. It does not discriminate. I don't expect, Brandy, the roads to improve at all. I actually expect them just to deteriorate slowly throughout the period. The only thing that will prevent that from happening is we get enough hours of drizzle-free hours to allow it to evaporate off the roadways. That's the only way I foresee this improving, and those are difficult to time. As you saw the model data, it doesn't look like it's going to be in our future. So I'm just going to assume at this point in time it just gets worse from here, and you got to be extra, extra careful when you guys head out. That's about all I can say. I can't say any more. There's really nothing much to it. We're just going to have to brace ourselves. It's going to be a long week. But thanks for watching. I'll do this again tonight at probably about 9:15, and I'll probably do some more lunchtime lives here this week as we keep tabs on the latest and what's happening. But be careful out there. Be safe, and we'll talk soon. Stay warm. Bye, everybody.